Hey everyone, on today's episode of Hubris Syndrome, we're talking about driving games that are not racing games that have bank robberies in them, and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Before we get started, it's been a while. It's time for a trip down memory lane. So, back in 2001, a tiny little franchise came out called The Fast and the Furious. Well, it wasn't a franchise yet, it was just a little movie about street racing. Well, a little Huber origins. This movie ignited my imagination and got me obsessed with the import racing scene. My brother and I went to go see this movie. He was a little older than me at the time, so he had his driver's license. And I can remember, the biggest thing was my brother and I bonded over this franchise. And he took me to see The Fast and the Furious, and I can remember leaving the West Park 8 theater on the corner of Alton and Culver. When this movie got out, exiting those doors, everyone just kind of looking at each other, pumped up, Everyone, all right. Everyone gets in their car in the parking lot, peels out of the lot. Brother drove home 120 miles an hour. Don't tell my parents. And that is where the love for this was born. The next thing you know, I'm getting my 2000 Honda Civic Si, slapping a turbo in there. I'm working double shifts, 12 hours a day to get overtime to buy this car and to mod the living hell out of it. Well, not every story has a happy ending. Modded this car. It was a beauty. Had a turbo, a Gretty turbo, C West front bumper. And one day, I was watching Galaxy Quest. I'll never forget the morning. I was watching Galaxy Quest in my bedroom. The night before, I was playing World of Warcraft for like 10 hours, so you can get a sense of what time this is. Watching Galaxy Quest, my dad comes in my room and he says, "Hey, where's your car?" I say, "What?" Go outside. My car was never seen again. But my love for The Fast and the Furious didn't die. I love the franchise. I see a lot of people looking at it like it's kind of this leper, kind of a weird franchise. It's gotten progressively more action, spy, heist oriented, and I wish it would go back to the street racing. But that's a whole nother issue for another show, because today we're talking about driving in video games. We had an episode last week where Brandon Jones was talking about rebooting Driver. Now this got me thinking. We're here right now because of Jones, let me tell you that. So, Driver, the franchise, I never really got into. I played a little bit of Driver 1 and never really played the other ones, but I know some of the team and Ubisoft started working on Watch Dogs, which is what I want to bring up right now. So Watch Dogs, I love the police chases in Watch Dogs because, first of all, they are unforgiving. These cops are ruthless. They will ram you, they will slam you, and they will track you very efficiently. And I love that you're using this technology to kind of take them out. It's very Italian Job. I don't know why I keep thinking about Italian Job. I don't even know if there's technology in Italian Job, but I think of Watch Dogs, and my favorite parts are just gunning it through an intersection, slamming up a guardrail, taking out some cops, pulling into a parking structure, turning off the ignition, and leaning down in your car. It's one of my favorite underrated mechanics in video games. Just a simple looking down in the car. So my true origins, even before that fateful night when I saw The Fast and the Furious at the West Park 8 theater, Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit on PlayStation 1. First of all, before we start talking about this game, I want to talk about the matching instruction manual and disc tachometer speedometer here. This is a thing of beauty. As Don said when he walked in earlier, someone worked real hard to make this happen. So Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 3, I love this game because this was really my first time in a high-speed police chase in a video game. You know, I was young when that game came out, and that game seemed bigger than it was. And part of that is because of the ruthless and relentless police officers in the game. You feel like they're everywhere. You feel like they're surrounding you.
I hope you're insured.
So we're not really just talking about racing games here. We're talking about just police chases in general. And nobody does them better than Grand Theft Auto. I want to bring up my favorite heist in video games, and that's Grand Theft Auto 5, the bank job, out in the boonies, Polito Bank. Now what I love about this mission is the setup, and that it's for these hardened, seasoned, veteran criminals, that it's like a low-class job, that it's a filler job to prepare for their next big job. And I love that about this mission, is that it's just another day for Trevor and Michael. But Franklin, you know, this is his first real heist, so he's kind of freaking out. If you take Packy along on this mission, he talks about Nico and GTA 4 in one of the coolest connecting moments of those two games. And just scouting this bank. I want an entire game built around this. Now, you might be saying, well, GTA 5 is built around these giant heists, but I say no. I say no and I say yes, because there are tons of heists in this game, but nothing as traditional as this bank robbery. There's some really weird ones. There's like the submarine one when you go down into that base. There's a train job. But in terms of just good old-fashioned 1970s Hollywood bank heist, there's not a lot of that. And setting up this mission, just going into the gas station, shooting the alarm in the back alleys, and then just waiting for the cops to show, doing like a timer check. Like, all right, how much time we got? Knowing that the cops are coming to protect their bank because it's all dirty money from drug busts that they've done. It's just another cool, subtle nod and more insight and more context into the heist. Now, this heist starts out old-fashioned and classic, which I love, you know, busting in, you go in, he's got the shotgun, he shoots it up in the air, you're pointing at the hostages, you're blowing into the bank, you're getting the cash, and then you kind of go out and you have the armor and the miniguns, and it turns into just like Duck Hunt. You know, if we could build a game that takes the first 3/4 of this mission and then just classic Getaway driving, where you had to maybe, you know, hightail it out of there, get into a new car, change cars, go this way, do some money handoffs, something like that. The dream. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about one more mission in GTA 5. I Fought the Law. I love this mission because it kind of turns the formula on its head, where you become the cops. And to tie it all back into Fast and the Furious, this is the most Fast and the Furious mission in this game, because you're racing some trust fund punks straight out of Fast and the Furious Part 1. Yeah, what's the retail on one of those? More than you could afford, pal. Smoke him. You remember that part? Vin Diesel, Paul Walker in the Supra versus the Ferrari, wish fulfillment, import racer taking down the man in the Ferrari. So you pull up as Franklin and you race these two punks. And what I love about this mission is how long it is. You are racing these cars down the highway and freeway for so long until you finally meet up with Michael and Trevor on the side of the road as motorcycle cops. You then switch perspectives and chase them down in a police chase as the cop. Not really a cop, but I love that dynamic. Just chasing them down, sirens blaring, they're weaving in and out of cars and traffic. Just a beautiful mission that kind of turns the formula on its head. So that's it for the episode where we talked about driving, racing, heists, bank robberies, Fast and the Furious, stolen cars. Did we miss anything? There are There are games with chases in them, but they aren't necessarily built around the idea. You know, I think of LA Noire, I think of Mafia. So I think of what I want, and I want more bank robberies, more heists. GTA 6 is like 20 years away at this point. But you know what's not? Red Dead Redemption 2. You know what I want? I want bank robbery Origins. I want to bust in the bank, put the bandana up, shoot the 6-shooter in the air, make some people dance on the ground, give me the money out of the safe, ride out of this town, and don't look back. So that's it for the show. I am at Michael P. Huber on Twitter. You can find me there if you want to talk about heists or bank robberies or police chases or the Fast and the Furious or anything else we talked about. We are Easy Allies. We're Patreon supported. We are on twitch.tv/EasyAllies, youtube.com/EasyAllies. We're doing reviews, previews, all sorts of good stuff, so you can find us there. There will be no Talking Syndrome this Saturday, unfortunately. I got some family obligations, but I will see you next week.
It's time for the syndrome.
Huber, what the hell are you talking about, man? All these syndromes? All these driving games? You are a liar. A stone cold liar and a cheat talking about Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 3. You forgot about earlier in your childhood. Earlier! Your first encounter with the law! Road Rash 1 and 2! Hitting those cops with those chains and billy clubs!